I am Dr. Dhanasri, working in St. Peter's Engineering College, taking classes for first year students on environmental science. Today we are going to discuss about Unit 5 Environment Policies, Legislation and EIA. The main contents of this unit are Environment Protection Act, legal aspects of Air Act, Water, Forest and Wildlife Act, Municipal Solid Waste Management and Handling Rules, Biomedical Waste Management and Handling Rules, Hazardous Waste Management and Handling Rules. Second part of this fifth unit will be EIA structure, methods of baseline data acquisition, overview on impact of air, water, biological and socio-economic aspects, strategies for risk assessment, concepts of environment management plan. Third part, last part of this unit will be towards sustainable future, concept of sustainable development, goals, population and its explosion, crazy consumerism, environmental education, urban sprawl, human health, environmental ethics, concept of green building, ecological footprint, life cycle assessment, low carbon lifestyle. Today we will discuss about first part of this unit, Environment Protection Act 1986. It is an act of Parliament of India. After the Bhopal gas tragedy, where the methyl isocyanate was leaked and many people lost their lives, the Government of India enacted the Environment Protection Act of 1986 under Article 253 of the Constitution. The purpose of the Act is to implement the decisions of the United Nations Conference on the Human Environment. They relate to the protection and improvement of the human environment and the prevention of hazards to human beings, other living creatures, plants and property. Environment Protection Act came into force on 19th November 1986. Why on this day means that on that day it is the birth anniversary of late Prime Minister Indira Gandhi. To commemorate her services on protection of environment, they started this act on that day. It has 26 sections and 4 chapters. The purpose of the Environmental Protection Act is to support and promote the management, protection, enhancement, and wise use of the environment while recognizing the following: preventing, mitigating, and remediating environmental impacts is important in making decisions and taking actions. Some terms related to environment which were described in this act or environment means includes water, air, land and the interrelationship which exists among and between water, air and land and human beings, other living creatures, plants, microorganisms and property. The environmental pollutant means any solid, liquid or gaseous substance present in such concentration as may be or tend to be injurious to environment. That is called environment pollutant. Environmental pollution means the presence in the environment of any environmental pollutant, of any type of pollutant. If it is found in the environment, it is called environmental pollution. Hazardous substance means any substance or preparation of that substance which by reason of its chemical properties or physicochemical properties or when it is handling is liable to cause harm which is toxic to human beings or other living creatures like plants, microorganisms or to the property or the environment. That is called hazardous substance. There are like various terminologies in this act. Today we will discuss about the most important functions of the Central Pollution Control Board under this act, including setting up of standards of quality of air, water or soil for various areas and purposes. What is the maximal permissible limits of concentrations of various environmental pollutants were also given by them. The procedures and safeguards for the handling of hazardous substances by the processes or industries are also given by CPCB. The prohibition and restrictions on the handling of hazardous substances in different areas. The procedures and safeguards for the prevention of accidents which may cause environmental pollution and providing for remedial measures for such accidents are also given by CPCB. Under this Act, the State Pollution Control Board have to follow the guidelines provided under Schedule 6. These are as follows. They have to advise the industries for testing the wastewater and gases with the best available technology to achieve the prescribed standards fixed by CPCB. The industries have to be encouraged for recycling and reusing the wastes. SPCB also guides the industries and also encourages the industries for recovery of biogas, energy and reusable materials. The state board have to take into account the assimilative capacity of the receiving water body while permitting the discharge of effluents into the environment. The central and state boards have to emphasize on the implementation of clean technologies by the industries in order to increase fuel efficiency and reduce the generation of environmental pollutants. These are all the guidelines given for the State Pollution Control Board. The Environment Protection Act has made provision for the environmental audit as a means of checking whether or not a company is complying with the environmental laws and regulations. Next, we will discuss about AIR Act, Air Prevention and Control of Pollution Act in abroad. AIR Act came into force in the year 1981. This is an act to provide for the prevention and control and abatement of air pollution through various management guidelines and restrictions. Pollution control boards at the central or state level have the regulatory authority to implement the AIR Act. It is also a comprehensive legislation with more than 50 sections. The main objectives of the Act are as follows. First one, to provide for the prevention, control and abatement of air pollution. To provide for the establishment of central and state boards with a view to implement the Act. To confer on the boards the powers to implement the provisions of the Act and assign to the boards functions related to pollution. Powers and functions of the boards. First we will discuss about Central Pollution Control Board functions. The main function of the central board is to implement legislation created to improve the quality of air and to prevent and control air pollution in the country. The board advises the central government on matters concerning the improvement of air quality and also coordinates the various activities and provides technical assistance and guidance to state pollution control boards and lays standards for the quality of air. It collects and disseminates information in respect of matters related to air pollution and performs functions as prescribed in the Act. The powers and functions of the State Pollution Control Board are: the state boards have the power to advise the state government on any matter concerning the prevention and control of air pollution. They have the right to inspect at all reasonable times any control equipment, industrial plant or manufacturing process and give orders to take the necessary steps to control pollution. They are expected to inspect air pollution control areas at intervals or whenever necessary. They are empowered to provide standards for emissions to be laid down for different industrial plants with regard to quantity and composition of emission of air pollutants into the atmosphere. That means these SPCB will guide them, and also they see that they are following the standards prescribed by the CPCB. The state board may establish or recognize a laboratory to perform this function. Whatever the samples they have collected in industries, they will be identifying the percentages of various pollutants in these laboratories. The state governments have been given powers to declare air pollution control areas after consulting with the state board, and also give instructions to ensure standards of emission from automobiles and restriction on use of certain industrial plants. Air Act under section 17, in this Air Act, boards have, that means SPCB and CPCB boards have to check whether or not the industry follows the standards laid down by the CPCB regarding the discharge of emissions of air pollutants. Under the section 20 of Air Act, has provision for ensuring emission standards from automobiles. As per section 19 of Air Act, in consultation with the state board, the state government may declare an area as air pollution control area and can prohibit the use of unapproved fuels in that area. Under section 31, a provision for appeals have been made can be filed by some aggrieved party or industry, and this appellate authority may contain one person or three persons, and they will be appointed by the head of the state, mostly by the governor. Now we will discuss about Water Act came into force in the year 1974. That means in a broad water prevention and control of pollution. For prevention and control of water pollution, they made this act in 1974. Water Act provides for maintaining and restoring the wholesomeness of water by preventing and controlling its pollution. The salient features and provisions of the Act are as follows. It provides for maintenance and restoration of quality of all types of surface and groundwater. It provides for the establishment of central and state boards for pollution control. Central and state pollution control boards are given comprehensive powers to advise, coordinate, and provide technical assistance for prevention and control of water pollution. The Act has provisions for funds, budgets, accounts, and audit of the central and state pollution control boards. The Act makes provisions for various penalties for the defaulters. Functions of Central Pollution Control Board under Water Act. CPCB advises the central government in matters related to prevention and control of water pollution. Coordinates the activities of various state pollution control boards and provides them technical assistance and guidance. CPCB organizes training program for prevention and control of pollution. They collects, compiles, and publishes technical and statistical data related to pollution. CPCB also prepares manuals for treatment and disposal of sewage and trade effluents. CPCB lays down standards for water quality parameters. That means what percentage of what chemical is permitted in our water. CPCB establishes and recognizes laboratories for analysis of water, sewage, or trade effluent samples. And they plans nationwide program for prevention, control, or abatement of pollution. Now we will discuss about functions of State Pollution Control Board under Water Act. The board advises the state government with respect to the location of any industry that might pollute a stream or a well. The board suggests efficient methods for utilization, treatment and disposal of trade effluents. The State Board is empowered to take legal samples of trade effluent in accordance with the procedure laid down in the Act. It lays down standards for effluents and is empowered to take samples from any stream, well, or trade effluent for sewage passing through an industry. Then Water Cess Act is also there, which was framed in 1977. This act provides for the levy and collection of a cess on water consumed by persons carrying on certain industries and by local authorities. Every person carrying on a specified industry and every local authorities would pay a cess on water consumed by him or by the community at specified rates. Affixing the meters will be done by SPCB to measure and record the quantity of water consumed. If a sewage treatment plant or effluent treatment plant is installed by any industry, then a rebate of 25% of the cess payable is allowed. The rates of cess varies according to the purpose for which water is consumed. It is less for water used for industrial cooling and other things, and more when the pollutants are not easily biodegradable and if they are toxic. So today we have discussed about Environment Protection Act, Air Act, Water Act and Water Cess Act. In the next class we will be discussing about Forest Act and Wildlife Protection Act. Thank you.